Everyone, thank you for joining us today again for our scheduled bi-weekly AMA. My name is Gary Bard. Today we have here Neville Divecha, Chris Becford, and Mr. Enki, the one and only, also known as Viraf, our head of PR. Let's take it away and start with Neville. Neville, go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
For sure. Thanks, Gary. And welcome everyone to the AMA. We're super excited for this AMA. Definitely a combination of a lot of work and effort. So hopefully you guys enjoy as much as we did. So just kicking it off with operations. As you all know, we're in talks with the University of Waterloo. Those talks are ongoing. We are very, very close to signing our final agreements I guess, encapsulating this partnership initiative that we're having with them. Same thing with the Ministry of Ontario Economic Growth. There has been way more discussions around the opportunities surrounding what we can and cannot accomplish in Ontario. So definitely a lot of good news coming and exciting news coming for that. Our enrollment we mentioned in Cybertech 2022, that's been completed. Our good buddy Viraf took it upon himself to make sure that our registration and whatnot was taken care of adequately. So that's coming up in March, I believe. Uh, I've been dropping snippets of our ITSM tool. The development's ongoing. I know there's jokes every single night about how many coffees I had today. Yeah, definitely ongoing and definitely a lot of coffee. And the last piece for me before I pass it off to Viraf is the job posting for the media content creator is set to go live next week. So if you are a media content creator, look out for that. We're not looking for someone specific to Canada. It is going to be an open application for that position. So definitely stay tuned and definitely apply if you're interested. And with that, I'll pass it off to Viraf.
Perfect. Thank you, Neville. Hey, Steam Exchange family. Hope everyone is healthy and well. As most of you know, we do have an exciting reveal lined up for today's AMA. So, with that in mind, I will aim to keep my marketing update brief with just six concise updates. So, number one, as I mentioned in the last AMA as well, we do have an ongoing conversation with Canada's soccer business. They're essentially responsible for everything to do with marketing around the Canadian national team, the women's team, the Canadian Premier League, and then subsequently the 2026 FIFA World Cup as well. So we are in talks with their team, and hopefully we look forward to lining up some form of an engagement here. The conversations are still quite preliminary, but let's see where this goes. Number two, we have actually engaged Cision to work with us for a global news rollout across North America, Middle East, Europe, and Asia. We are going to target specific countries and have translated articles disseminated in these regions. Cision is and does have one of the largest global networks when it comes to news agencies and publication rights. So we do see value in working with them for this news rollout. Number three is our Rogers radio and TV campaigns. They're lined up. The scripts and other marketing collateral are ready. We're currently awaiting our legal clearance before we can launch this pilot campaign. Number four is Google, Facebook, Reddit, and Coinzilla. Our campaigns here will be scaled in the upcoming week. We've done a few targeting exercises here across the last week, and we'll be adding to the momentum on these campaigns shortly. So stay tuned for that. Number five is we've had some great metrics from CoinGecko across the last 2 weeks. Steam Exchange as a project was highlighted as a top trending project in Canada, in the United States, as well as Asia, right? So CoinGecko does track metrics on their own platform, but they also keep an eye out on socials and just sort of positive sentiment around the project. So a good sign here of the interest that has been building around our project in these geographical regions. And number six is we do have a few AMAs and some YouTube videos lined up across the next 2 weeks. Our content from the Spanish influencer that we've been talking about as well will be going live this week. So we look forward to adding that Spanish community group to our community list and helping sort of expand on our global vision and helping get the message out to that audience as well. So that was a quick high-level summary of a few initiatives that we have ongoing and are working on. Plenty of conversations happening all around, and we will constantly provide updates as soon as things develop. For now, that's it. I hope everyone is as excited for what is to come. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Gary for our infrastructure updates.
Thank you so much, guys. Uh, As you guys know, this is something that normally is delivered to everyone by Chris. Chris is here today, however, due to the environment where he is located right now, and it's not suitable for live audience. Thereby, he is here. He's here with us. We feel his presence. Thank you, Chris, for joining and being committed. And I will take it away on his behalf for this part, and I will merge it together with the normal update you guys receive from me. So, where we are. So, normally give you a few updates here. So, we'll try to keep it short so we can let Chris elaborate on that later. We're going to talk about right now platform progress, blockchain progress. Then we're going to do a little video for you guys, and we'll give you a little bit of meaning in what comes with that video. And then we'll do a little discussion also stemming from that video. So that's what we're going to do now. Right on. So let's start off with the platform update. On our last AMA, as you guys may or may not recall, we mentioned that the front end is being reworked. What does that mean? So, what I can tell you precisely what it means, just trying to find the best words to use here. So, it's not that there was something wrong with it, there wasn't nothing wrong with it, and it's not a visual per se rework. It's more of a back-end coding rework. So it's not something that we could show you and point a finger to, and it's easy to understand. Whereas somebody can go, aha, okay, now I understand. It's more so that we used the same, how do I put this? The same code for the mobile, the desktop, and the tablet, which normally would work, but based on where we're going and the future development that we would have, there is a higher level step up game to it where you can step up your game. And we've decided to separate it into three different modules rather than keep it in one in terms of code. So, what it gives us is much smoother and better functionality. That is what Chris was referring to. That is the slight um, addition to the timeline that had occurred there, and it was done on purpose. It was done by choice. It's the decision that was made executively by all of us to bite that bullet in order for the user experience to be more operable, easier to use, and seamless. And also, it gives us the ability to update and upgrade in the future much faster and smoother, and individual units, right? Versus having to per se update everything at once, and it may or may not have an effect across the entire community, right? This way is much better. So I don't want to expand on it too much. I'll leave it up to Chris to expand at a later point. But that's where we are there. Uh, Blockchain update. So over the past couple of weeks, we had our heads down working on it. We're fine tuning our consensus mechanism, and we're gonna touch on this at a high level right now because we're gonna talk about this in our discussion later, where we're keeping an open floor concept. We're still working on the smart contracts. We're still working on the launchpad. That's all still in development. We are fine tuning from A to Z. As you can imagine, we'll always be fine tuning. It's one of those things that you just don't stop. There's always going to be something along the lines of let's improve this, let's improve that. Is always going to be some more additions. There are always going to be improvement protocols added. So we're getting to a point where we're happy with it, and we can release it and show you guys, right? You know what? What do we? I think everyone. Neville, what do you think? I think they're gonna get bored. Um, let me show them what we've been hiding. What do you think? We
Go
should show them
go
or
for it, buddy.
no? I think we should show them,
Yeah,
right?
go for it.
100%.
Yep.
All right. So everybody can see my screen now. Let me just bring that in here. Guys, Neville's been teasing you. and this is what you guys been waiting for. So I pinned it. It's a combination of the video and the YouTube link, sir. So it's all in one.
Perfect. And Gary, just before you continue, guys, for those of you all that just watched the video, just peek at the TM, the trademark over there, because that is incredibly important. Over to you, Gary.
Thank you so much, sir. So why I saved the important stuff for last? Because it all ties into the blockchain. So as you can tell, because we've also announced the name, we've also had to trademark it. Now you know what, Neville? I'll leave that part to you to touch on. But before I go there, it does mean that Alpha is live. So thanks to everyone on the team. I want to publicly thank you guys. I know it's been hard going, and I know it's been very stressful at times, but thank you for all your dedication and tolerating me. I know, I know I'm not easy at times, but nevertheless, we have achieved Alpha. Alpha is live. So that's there. Neville, if you want to touch base on the trademark, and then I'll go over with the community on the consensus mechanism.
For sure. So we did go ahead and trademark our brand and also the product, right? The Rails network, the blockchain. The reasons we did that was obviously number one to protect the brand and protect the proprietary name, right? We can't obviously trademark the words Rails or network, so we had to get creative with the way we implemented our trademarks. We went through the process. We went through legal. We got the application submitted, and then it took time to approve. So this application was actually submitted a while ago, and it was just approved last week. So I got the email on Monday, and that's when I dropped the first snippet. So we've been ready to do this reveal for a while. It just took a while to get here. So again, congratulations to everyone, not just the team, also the community. You guys have been resilient. This is the biggest step forward we've taken so far, and definitely good things to come going forward. Back to you, Gary.
Beautiful, guys. So a lot of people have been asking us what's the consensus mechanism, what's it going to be, and I know we've always said that we'll try to accommodate best of both, right? So everybody wanted to do mining, and it is also known that we wanted to do master nodes, right? Because one is safer than the other, and one rewards the other. And we said that if we can, we'll do some form of a hybrid. We never promised it, but we always said that we're interested in discovering that, doing R&D on that. And I today am sitting here and I'm proud to say that we have achieved a hybrid as on that front as well. Now, uh, this type of hybrid we could launch the way it is, which we did. It's there, or we can continue to develop it. Now, the reason I'm saying we could do it right away is because similar to other blockchains, the upgrades, when you implement them, they are implemented seamlessly. We are hoping that next bi-weekly AMA we have, which is supposed to be on the 26th, we are able to show you the operations of the blockchain using an explorer. So right now we can use it in a terminal, but we don't want to go that far in the back end, and not a lot of people understand it. So we said, okay, we'll leave it for the Explorer. It's something that most people can understand and they're used to, such as common Explorer names that you know for Ethereum or whatnot, right? Or even Binance. So our blockchain, just like any other blockchain, has an Explorer as well. So that's again on the 26th, I believe. Yes, 26. We did fully tested. Our developers did a thorough test and implemented it and added it to MetaMask. Now, for those of you who've been asking if we needed to release a wallet particular to the coin, and you've been asking if it's integratable to MetaMask, you just got your answer. So, since it's integratable to MetaMask, it also means that it's easily added to wallets such as Trust Wallet, the Razor, and so on and so on and so on. What does that mean? So that means yes, you can launch a type. I'm not saying exactly that. It's a type of something that's commonly known as EVM. So that should make a lot of people happy because it is readily accessible and easy to implement across all existing platforms, devices, and wallets, obviously. So it's easy to mesh, it's easy to implement, it's easy to use, and the ability to use it is already out there in everyone's pockets. The consensus mechanism that I somehow strayed away from, my apologies, is, like I said, a mixture. So, what do we call it? Should we tell them, Neville? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Neville? I saw you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
my mute button was
Yeah, I
dancing.
saw
Yeah,
that.
yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I saw that. So, proof of work is POW. So since we have proof of work here, we are obviously POW. But it's now we didn't come to a complete conclusion if we're gonna use the letter B or not. But as of now, it is. So we're gonna leave it at that. That may change. So it's proof of work, and then forward slash proof of work by authority. So that puts a completely new spin on things that has never been put out there before, and that is where we are. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail, but essentially, yes, we are rewarding the miners, and yes, we are rewarding the master nodes. Now, where we are here, where we are now, where we landed for now is it is a pre-approved consensus system, meaning you can't just operate a master node, you can't just download a master node, operate it, and start contributing to the consensus system. It is a pre-approved consensus system on the master node end, definitely. As well as the mining part has its own pre-approved system where the pools that do the mining and give you the mining work are also pre-approved. And this is all done for the sake of safety. Now, there is something that you guys would be able to download, which is, if I had to put it in basic words, it's a synchronization of the blockchain with a read-only mode, right? So if you're doing an app or what have you, something similar to that, and you need to pull data from the blockchain, you could synchronize by launching a node, but you won't be able to push to the node. You can only read from the node. So again, for security reasons only. And I just wanted to make this like a type of discussion more laid back, and so you guys can get a really feel for it, and it's not as intense as always. Neville, would you like to add something here? I know you got something else.
No, go ahead, buddy. You're on a roll. Go ahead.
I was I didn't want to go too far in because I know that Chris I want to save some good stuff for Chris for when he's available during the week. Um, why don't we open up for questions? I know there's people like itching to touch that button and ask questions. What do you think? I say we just open it up for questions.
Sure. Just before we do that, I just want to just summarize, right? So we did reveal a lot of information about the blockchain. Of course, you learned about the name, you learned about the trademarking, you learned about the consensus mechanisms. There's a couple things that we are still testing and making sure that the data is accurate. One of those things is, average block time, transaction per second. So once that data is available to us after thorough testing, we will definitely publish a tech spec sheet for you guys that compares our blockchain to other blockchains like ours. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, let's go for questions.
Oh, you mean the block time? Yeah. Block time is 2 to 3 seconds right now, so it's stupid fast. Stupid fast. Basically, you click the button to send the money, and it's there. All right. So as always, let's do this. Let me turn off my screen sharing here. There we go. And I'm gonna start unmuting people as always. If you have your hand up and you want to ask a question, by all means, just put your hand up and you will be unmuted. All right, Hadi, go ahead.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for the presentation and thanks for the team. Just few questions, more than one. One is choosing proof of work. Don't you think it's a bit risky, given the sensitivity around energy consumption by proof of work, and there's not many smart contract platforms except I think Kedina and Nervos using proof of work. So don't you think that's a bit risky picking this as a consensus mechanism? And also, the other question I had was about the programming language, what that would be.
So you missed a big one. You missed Ethereum, and that's a pretty big one, right? That you missed there. But nevertheless, the programming language I'll leave for later. It's gonna be in the documentation because there are several different approaches to it. And when we have that finalized, ready, and up for release, whatever you guys want to do, we'll release it. You guys can choose whatever you want, because it is slightly different than the normal. And in terms of energy consumption, no, because it's a hybrid, it's different. And in terms of risk, we are literally mitigating it by having it pre-approved. It's pre-approved either way you go. You can't just come in and be a nefarious user and start adding blocks if you wish to. You know what I mean? It's got to be from a pre-approved system. The same similarity that we're saying you can't just come in and launch a token. It has to be pre-approved by the team, right? And as well as whether it's green or not. I understand that the world's moving towards the green stuff on the market, but again, we are a hybrid and we have both. So I don't see that it would be using a large amount of energy as the nodes are able and capable of doing the work solely on their own. Where the miners come in is to speed up the process, so to speak. So they're getting rewarded differently. The nodes get rewarded differently, and the miners get rewarded differently. However, the nodes can also mine.
Okay, so anyone can mine, but the master nodes are selected by, let's say, they're centralized.
The master nodes are pre-approved. There will be applications, and the mining pools are pre-approved. So you can't really anyone can mine. I mean, you can mine it, but you won't get paid for it essentially. Well, you shouldn't be able to connect. We tested it, and I mean, it didn't connect if we didn't allow it to. The system kicked you out, um, and the block wasn't approved, right? So that's the
Right.
safety
So
there.
even so, does that mean that even if as a miner you join those mining pools, you wouldn't be able to get any rewards, right?
No, if you join a pre-approved mining pool, you would be obviously rewarded for your work. If you set up your own mining pool and try to somehow
Hmm.
connect to it, it won't work.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. Okay.
So
Thanks.
that way we can always limit the sizes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
You see where we're going with this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
Definitely.
can't have
Um.
half the world mining on it. So, for example, with Ethereum, everybody's on it right now. Um, if you want, you can go ahead and connect. With us, you can't connect unless you're pre-approved. So a pool would have to be created, and it would have to be pre-approved to
Hmm.
join the consensus mechanism. And
Uh.
then
um,
that pool has different miners that connect to it, right? Now, what
yeah.
happens commonly out there that there's a list of pools, right? You can see there's websites for it. And there are certain pools that when a miner gets developed, the owner of that miner is typically an owner of a particular pool, and they release it to the public, right? It's very
Yeah.
common. What happens in that case is some people end up switching to a different pool. Some people will just stick with the stock one, and then you end up seeing that that particular pool has too much power, like 51%, 60%, and it leaves it open for attacks. But with our consensus mechanism, even if a pool had 51%, and even if they got every single miner on that pool to submit a bad block, it still wouldn't pass the consensus mechanism that we have. So we have several layers of defense. So a 51% attack coming from a mining pool will not work.
Hmm. I'm sure from security perspective, it's definitely one of the best. How about the scalability? I mean, are you not worried? I mean, other proof of works obviously have layer twos to address the scalability, and is that something that you ever considered or?
Of course, there's many things on the board behind me, but again, we gotta start somewhere. If we keep adding and adding and adding and adding, we'll never hit the start line. So we gotta hit the start line, and as we go on along, uh, implement. Well, we're gonna get a better name for this, but right now it's RIP. So Rails
Yeah.
Improvement Protocol, but um, we're gonna definitely get a better name for this, but we can always implement improvement protocols, right?
Right. So it's not going to be an open source.
What is and what is not is not finalized 100%. 90% of it is. Blockchain is live. Whether or not certain sections will be available to the public, we as a team did not land on everything 100% just yet to close it off on it.
Mm.
So we could always say yes, that's available, and we can always say no, that's not available, right? Can it be available? Yes. Will it be available? We did not 100% land on that mark yet. So as of now, no, until further notice.
All right. Okay. Great. Thanks for the good work.
Thank you, sir. That was a very good question. And for anyone else, I'm sorry that it took a little bit of time to answer that. I just wanted to be clear. Next person that I have here with their hand up is Josie, Jose. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, sir. How's it going? Just wanted to say great work. You guys have been putting in a lot of effort. I know it's a lot of time away from your family. Much appreciated. As far as the question, I was just curious, how many transactions can you do per second?
So that is a very good question, and I know that it's a lot. The finite number we have not matched. So we have not hit the end yet, if that makes sense. We did not overload
Yeah,
the
that makes
system
sense
yet,
because I
so
mean,
we've put the system on what we call a minimal and then a medium server. Um, and I'm not referring to anything that's out there. I'm referring to an actual hard server, like in front of our face, right? Now, we have not put the system yet onto a server that is extravagant, if you will, to check and see, okay, aha, this is the limitation. So we haven't hit the brick wall yet on that.
wow, that's definitely pretty good to hear.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, thank you.
Guys, I don't see anyone else with their hand up. Perhaps a question for Neville or our head of PR, Enki. Oh, there we go. JB. JB, how you doing, sir?
Hey, doing well. How are you guys doing? Hey, so I'll just jump right into my question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So mine less tech-based, but more so just kind of down the line. And just overall question regarding bringing in talent to the actual blockchain or utility or use case. You guys have maybe some vision there that you're looking for to after launch?
Sorry, it's a little hard to hear you. I heard utility, use case, vision after lunch. That correct?
Yeah, bringing talent to the blockchain. You guys
Right.
have
So if you have a list, celebrity list, that's what we are for blockchains. So if you have a good project and you want to put it somewhere that is classified as high end, if you will, and hard to get into, and it gives you some form of status when you get in, right? Kind of like college that you go to, for instance. In the old days, it was considered to be a pretty good thing if you went to Harvard, for example, right? Nowadays, it doesn't matter, but just putting out an example there. It's the same concept. Why would you take your legitimate use case project and put it on a network that is known for hosting tokens for pump and dumps when you can go to a network that will help you grow yourself, will help you meet other use case projects that you might mesh with on that same network, because we know that if you grow, we grow, and we want to grow together. We're not in it just for ourselves, we're in it for everybody that comes along with us. One big happy family.
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, JB. Crypto Darkness, go ahead, sir. Maybe you have a question for Neville or Enki.
Yeah. Well, you did mention earlier that you had a time of 2 to 3 seconds per block.
Correct.
I want to know what kind of stress tests are you guys running into the system? What kind of simulation is it? Millions or billions of transactions per second, or what kind of simulation are you guys running in there?
So again, it just depends on the server. We have not hit the max yet. It's right now is where it's at. By the time the block hits confirmation, with the transactions that are in there, we're at 2 to 3. So the first ones were hundreds, and then we went thousands, and we're at high millions. So I think that's more than enough right now where we're at.
Okay, I see. And the next question is more about what you just mentioned about the projects coming into your blockchain. Because I understand that at the beginning, it's going to be more of a control issue where you guys are going to be, vetting anyone that wants to come into the blockchain. But at some point, that's going to get out of control, right? Because you're going to have so many requests that probably the quality and the control of it is going to take a hit. I know this because I work within, the development industry, and I know how it works. And the process can't be the same at the beginning. So I guess you guys are going to be adjusting to that. or hiring more personnel to attend that issue.
So can I? Sorry, I'm gonna intervene here, so I can see this rolling into 4 different questions or 5 different questions. I'm just gonna intervene here. My apologies, and I will let you finish that thought. Um, when we take an application from somebody, that application comes with a fee for the application. Thereby, it pays for those people to review these applications. So the more applications we have, the more people we can hire to review them. The standard will be the same.
Okay, so but you're saying that the more applications comes, the hiring, but the hiring is not a process that you can do in seconds, right? You're gonna
No,
have
you're
to.
correct. Yes. So obviously we would see it scaling up.
Okay, so and you know the reason I mentioned that is because you really want people to come into your network, right? And if you put in too many stuff in there for them to actually get approved, it turns into hassle, right? And it's almost like Apple and Android when you submit an app to them, right? It takes around 7 days, but not really 7 days. You need to have connections for that because it takes 3 weeks
Oh,
or
we're
so.
we're 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 there. We're aware.
Yeah. So yeah, I do have connections, so it takes me 7 days, but I know for other people it actually takes a lot of time. So uh that's the reason mainly why I'm asking that, because well, you know, the crypto space, right? You got
Correct.
thousands and thousands of projects coming in daily, and that
But
was
that's
my
that's the
worry. Like,
problem. That's the problem. You really want to tell me that there are thousands and thousands of dollars of thousands upon thousands, excuse me, of projects that are legitimately real utility projects every single day?
well, I'm not saying they're going to be good, right? But you're going to have that amount of submissions in there, so you're going to have to make that decision, right? Depending on the the criteria you guys are going to have, and everything that people are going to be submitting to comply with that criteria, right?
Right. So I don't
So
think that somebody would. We would obviously post the minimum requirements, and then there's going to be things that we would have to manually review, such as your business plan, for instance. And I don't think that people that know that they won't qualify for at least these minimum requirements beyond, like, before you get to anything that we would actually have to physically read, would submit their application with a fee, knowing very well that they won't pass, as well as obviously somebody's gonna have to look over the application, so the fee won't be refunded. I don't. I think that would limit these thousands of applications that you so speak of, right? Because unless you really think you're gonna get in, you're not gonna spend your money.
oh, definitely, yeah. So yeah, that was my question. Thank you for the answer.
No problem. I hope it was sufficient. Up next is Crypto King. Crypto King, go ahead, sir.
Okay. First of all, I want to appreciate the team for a very, very nice work they're doing, and I've actually followed through this project for quite some weeks now, months now. So, with the reveal of the blockchain network, do we can we say that the alpha version is live or the beta version, or when are we looking at?
Crypto King, I'm guessing that you joined in late and you missed this portion, but Alpha is live.
Oh, okay, all right. So beta isn't live yet, right?
No, sir, Alpha is live.
Oh, okay, all right. Do we have any timeline for launching beta?
It will be updated by next AMA. We'll have a more precise timeline for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question. Neville, I'm sorry, man. I keep asking.
No, that's good. We're on the hot topic, but guys, we do want to have a dedicated AMA to the technicalities around the blockchain, right? So I see a lot of questions in the chat. Uh, it's very difficult for us not to answer those questions because that's just kind of how we are. But yeah, let's save those questions, right, for the next AMA when we do have better concrete answers for you as far as the tech behind the blockchain, the specs, and whatnot. Definitely, we're going to be asking our admins to keep an eye out in the chat for any questions that do come up regarding the blockchain, and they will document those and we will discuss those in the next AMA.
It's a very, I mean, yes, this was on there for us to say. I'm sorry, I was taken along. I love talking about this kind of stuff. All right, so with that being said, guys, any questions for blockchain? Let's do a dedicated one, as Neville said. Neville, what do you think? We dedicate it to a group of admins to take those in, and or just ask people to hold that thought until the next AMA.
We can do both, right? I mean, of course, we're not saying not to talk about it in the chat. Of course, talk about it, ask your questions. If the questions that we talked about today, we'll definitely answer them again for you. But any net new questions about anything we haven't talked about, we'll reserve those questions for the next AMA.
Beautiful. So I guess that would conclude it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Neville. I know Chris jumped off, but thank you, Chris. Thank you, Viraf. Thank you, everyone, for being here, supporting us, and full steam ahead.
For sure. Thanks everyone for joining. Take care.
Bye. And I'm stopping the recording here. And just before we go, sorry guys, just before we go, we will have a dedicated session just for the purpose of the blockchain, mining, and whatnot, and all of that we will condense and likely will be an elaborate session where it's a back and forth discussion because it is a very hot topic nowadays. I am very much so looking forward to that. It is something that's very dear to me and has been in the core of my heart even before Steam Exchange. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good day, guys.